Good morning. It's the 16th of February 2019. My name is Amanda and I am just welcoming actually all my new subscribers. And there's been a lot of you that have subscribed to this channel since I've been away for a couple of weeks. So you're all warmly welcome. What you will find on my channel is a number of different subjects and areas that we look at. I don't tend to stay still for very long, so by that I mean that I like to look at many different subjects and different subject areas, and sometimes they will be included in one video as well. And I'm just going to say that because I just went onto YouTube this morning to check my comments, and somebody's put a comment up about, you know, I thought this video was about Robert Mueller, why are you talking about Doreen Virtue? Well, it's just the way that I roll, because like probably many of you, I've got a head full of stuff and there aren't enough hours in the day to produce 20 videos a day. It's just not my style. So what I tend to do is longer videos that accomplish hopefully a lot within them. So what we're going to do in this one is we're going to have a little catch up. Because, as I say, I've been away for 2 weeks. I'm not fully back, actually, for another week, at least another week. My kids are on half term now, and I'm still recuperating as well. So, but normal service will be resumed from March, is what I'm hearing. But I wanted to come on today and just say hello to you all. And yeah, there's been an awful lot going on, hasn't there? So I've written some things down that I'd like to talk about today. I'd like to talk a little bit about illness and what it teaches us. I've got some information with regard to this virus that a lot of us have had that has, I'm hearing the word mutated because it seems to be something that keeps coming back. And I'm quite intrigued by that in terms of the whole 3D, 5D physical body. Got some information on that. I've got something to say on removing the story around some of the political dramas in our world at the moment. I've got something to say on Michael Jackson. And I'm also going to be talking to you about what's got me through the last 2 weeks in terms of spiritual tools and anything else that comes up. Okay, when I'm properly back to it, I'm going to be looking at Brexit as a priority and Australia, Brazil, and the Alter Major work that I promised you all as well before I went offline. So, 16th of February. Yeah, I've been off because I felt unwell, and what basically happened is I suffered a hypertensive episode where your blood pressure goes really through the roof, and I started to get symptoms linked to that. Headaches, dizziness, and you have to take it seriously. So I'm having some tests done as to why that's all happened, and I'm on some medication at the moment which is just temporarily bringing it down, but I have no intention of staying on that forever. I'll be looking at the holistic way to deal with that. And then I got a bug on top of it. And actually, I very, very rarely am unwell. I can't remember the last time I ever got a cold. And I've had 2 real stinking colds within, well, the space of, 5 weeks into 2019. So it's highly unusual for me. And I've also noticed that it's happened to other people as well, particularly this virus. And it got me thinking, I mean, even including my husband, who's very physically fit and healthy, he's never ill either, and he's had it twice as well. My daughters have had it twice, and I know friends that have had it twice. It's coming back, it's mutating in healthy people as well. And so I tuned into Metatron about this. I said to him, you know, what is going on here? What is this all about? And I got a really interesting piece of information that I just want to share with you, and we can just feel into it. Because he started to talk about the fact that we know that we are stepping out of the 3rd dimensional reality into the 5th dimension, and our bodies are the vehicles through which that experience happens. So our bodies are upgrading to a fifth dimensional energy. Many of us are walking around, actually, is what he's saying, in 5D bodies, but yet still in a 3D world, because the collective consciousness out there hasn't risen yet to be able to sustain 5D in all its glory, day in, day out. We have pockets of it. We have places where it can be more easily accessed. We can live it, breathe it, be it, even though around us many are operating still at a lower vibration. But the point is, our body that's housing our essence is having to cope with this wibbly wobbly state of 3D, 5D, what's it going to be today? Where am I going? What's the energy going to feel like? And what Metatron said to me with regard to these viruses and bacteria is that it's a bit like immunization. It's the way he described it to me. So a fifth dimensional body needs to get a tolerance level within it to be able to fight off bacteria. And that really intrigued me, and it made sense to me. And I thought, yeah, I understand that. So what he basically is saying is that the 5D body has to acclimatize to so much. Everything changes when you fully embody fifth dimensional energy and you live it and the world becomes it. But as I say, we're in this sort of transition state at the moment. So the body is feeling into 5D through many different ways. Through language, through actions, through beliefs, but also through what it's exposed to. And I honestly feel as though this virus that has wanted to keep coming back has almost been like a double, it's like a double test for the immune system. And then once it's done, it's done. And that whatever that bacteria was, whatever that virus was, you've built up immunity to it. But you've built up immunity to it in the fifth dimensional body that you now inhabit. And I don't exactly know what that virus was, because it doesn't feel as though it was just a common cold. Because it feels as though it went through the whole body. Not just, snuffly nose, catarrh, all the headaches, all that type of stuff. It's almost as though the whole body was affected. The back, the spine, the feet, the legs, the head space, the lungs, the throat. I can almost think of no part of the body that wasn't in some way touched by it. And it doesn't mean that if you haven't had the bug, oh no, I haven't had the bug, because again, it's just so deep what's going on right now. Because the other thing that's coming up so hugely is timelines, and that we're all on different timelines. And it doesn't matter where I am in relation to you or where the next person is, because it's all completely divinely perfect. You are where you're meant to be. But some of us seem to be on this timeline, which is about, okay, you've done a lot of the work with regard to getting ready for fifth dimensional consciousness. You've got your head round it. You know and you feel from your heart that you should be obviously operating from a more love-based frequency than a fear-based frequency. The spiritual maturity stuff that I was talking about in my last video. We know that, and we know when we dip back into 3D and then we aspire to come back into 5D. So we've got our head round it, our heart is operating, we're listening to it, we're trying to embody that. But the body that all of that happens in also has to acclimatise. And I honestly think that these viruses that have come in right at the start of 2019, in such a pivotal year, is linked into some level of immunity for the new fifth dimensional body. So, and then I've written down here, I'm just looking down because I've written some notes, because I was like querying that when Metatron said that to me, and I said, okay, well, hold on a minute. Does bacteria exist in 5D? Would bacteria exist in 5D? Haven't we been told that fifth dimensional energy is, you know, it's about love, it's about light, it's about a pure vibration? Why would we have all these nasty, yucky bugs floating around? And what Metatron straight away said to me is that, again, we are boxing ourselves in terms of consciousness. We're thinking that 5D is the be-all and end-all. It really isn't. What I'm being shown is a ladder of consciousness. We've been on the third dimensional step for eons. And what we're able to do at the moment is climb up to the fifth dimension via 4. But above that are so many other steps, so many other dimensions, which the human being hasn't been able to fully embody up to now. I hope to God that by the end of my lifetime, we've gone way beyond fifth dimensional living. And when you get way beyond fifth dimensional living and fifth dimensional vibration, then maybe we can start to talk about bacterias don't necessarily, aren't still evident. But when in 5D isn't utopia, is what I'm really trying to say. 5D is the next step on the evolutionary ladder that we are all climbing. And it's a big step. It's a big step from 3D to 5D. And if I've lost you already and you're thinking, I don't know what on earth she's going on about, well, look back. I've made a video on what fifth dimensional frequency is all about. But I think most of you do get it and are with me. I hope you are anyway. So yeah, sure, there can still be stuff lurking around in 5D reality that isn't necessarily helpful all of the time. So what our body has to do is acclimatise. It has to get used to it. And I really think that's why we're getting these things coming back. And again, time has accelerated. So in the old days, think about a baby, think about a toddler. When you bring up a baby or a toddler, what you experience is they get all of the bugs, you know, within the first, 4 or 5 years. As soon as they start nursery, they come down with one after another. And then usually they bring them home and everyone's spluttering and coughing together. And what they're doing, of course, is the child is building up its immunity. It's having to be exposed to the viruses that are in society. And it gets one, and then maybe 6 months' time it gets another one. And, you know, step by step, the immunity gets built up. It's as though in 5D, we haven't got time for that nonsense. In 5D, it's like, okay, we're going to bring this in. And it's not just that we're bringing it in to make you feel unwell and just to, you know, lower you. Yes, it's about building immunity, and we're going to give you a double whammy so your body really gets it and then is immune. But it's also because it's like a double clearance that's going on. It literally is like, I'm being shown a bathroom, okay? And, you know, you go in, you clean your bathroom, you give it a good old wipe round, spray the Jif or whatever it is that you use. And it looks okay on the surface. But actually, if you looked a bit closer, there'd be a bit of fluff here and there, and, you know, you haven't quite got the dirt off there or the grease off there. Go back in with a stronger, astringent, antibacterial thing and get the last bit of crud away. And that literally is what these viruses are doing at the moment, okay? So it's like a double whammy. What this basically means as well is that you have to take it seriously. You can't just battle through it like some martyr. Where you can, you stop. Now, I completely understand that some of you are in 9-to-5 jobs, you've got 20 days holiday a year, you can't necessarily just take off 2 weeks. But what you can do is slow down when you can, delegate when you can, make it as easy as possible for yourself so that your body can adjust to this period of, illness that seems to be affecting a lot of people at the moment, okay? Another really interesting thing, I must just say this before I forget, that I observed is we know that viruses are contagious, okay? That's a given. You know, you go into a train and someone's blowing their nose and it's like, oh God, please, I don't want that, thank you very much, I'm sitting beside you. We know they're contagious. But think about what I've just said, that this virus, these viruses that are around at the moment, they're not just, it isn't just about the common cold. This is about getting the 5D body immune to some of the 3D crud that is still flying around. What has really interested me is that, say you're in 5D and you get the bug, the virus, and then somebody else catches it that you live with or you're friends with, but they're not necessarily operating from a fifth dimensional frequency. They're very stuck in 3D, but yet they get the bug. And then the bug comes back twice to them as well. Now that really interests me, because to me, what that says, remember, this is all about getting the body ready for 5D, or not ready for 5D, getting the body, helping the body to be immune when in 5D. It's so clever. It's as though I can see it so clearly. It's like, okay, what Metatron is saying to me is it's like the fifth dimensional energy itself is contagious. And almost as though the virus coming in to clear the person who is at 3D, it actually helps to elevate them to a higher level of frequency. So I try to live my life as a fifth dimensional being. You know that. Don't always succeed, but most of the time I try to live in 5D. So I would class myself as somebody with a fifth dimensional frequency. I caught this bug. It gave my 5D body some immunity to all the other stuff that's around in the collective. But yet somebody I'm living with who's very 3D, they also got it. And the fact that they got it, that bug has done a lot more than they actually realise. It's, again, remember the analogy of the bathroom, it's gone in and it's given them a double clean. And what it's done is, even if the fifth dimensional energy hasn't completely transported itself or manifested itself, would be a better word, into that other person's body, they're ready for it. They're absolutely ready for it. Do you get what I'm saying? So I think it's a really important fundamental point. So let me know what you think about what I've just said. And it makes sense to me anyway. In terms of just some tips for anybody that is feeling unwell or that has been through it. As I say, I'm through it, but I'm still feeling a little bit week, so that's why I'm not fully coming back for another week or so. I'm not doing any client work at the moment, for example. I'm not up to that. But here are a few things that I've been doing to just help myself, as it were, apart from the obvious, which is rest and good food. Let's talk about colours to start with. You know that I'm a colour therapist. It's been really interesting, the colours that I've been drawn to. Green as a energy is, I guess, the go-to energy when you are feeling unwell. So the Archangel Raphael energy in particular, I haven't got it to hand, but there's an Archangel, I'll just go and grab it, it's only sitting over there. This is the Archangel Raphael energy, okay? And let's just spray it, because I know some of you feel the sprays as I spray them. Raphael. Green is a beautiful energy for when you're feeling unwell, because what green does is it gives you the space and the permission to be able to stretch, expand, release, Think of a tree, the way it releases its leaves. And it's also linked into boundaries. It's linked into saying, I'm stopping. I'm just stopping. I'm saying no, putting myself first. The green energy is also to do with revitalization and recovery, replenishment. And Raphael himself, of course, is the master healer, the master physician. So Raphael is a go-to energy. Let's just see what he has to say at the moment with regard to illness. Let's just bring a message through from Raphael. So he's coming away from the talk about viruses now. And I'm hearing illness is a state of mind. It's talking about the mind-body relationship to being unwell. And okay, Raphael, that leads me quite nicely into something I was going to say, but I'd forgotten to say, which is that I was quite staggered because I'm always well. I'm blessed, touch wood, with good health, always have been, and I'm very appreciative of it as well. But I was staggered by the fact that as soon as I got this diagnosis of hypertensive episode, blood pressure problems, how quickly I could bring that label to me. You know, I am ill. I am ill. I have this. I am that. No, I'm not. I might be exhibiting those symptoms at the moment, but I am not that disease. I am not that illness. This is something that's just passing through, but not passing through as quickly as possible, let's get it out of the way. No, this is something that's passing through. I have to learn things from this. I have to take stock. I have to heal. I have to listen. But I am not it. It was amazing to me how quickly, if I wasn't more conscious, I nipped it in the bud really quickly. But how comforting it was to suddenly have a label to put onto myself that I'm ill, you know, and so because I'm ill, I can't do that. I can't do that. I'm not talking about work here. I'm just talking about, I could see it almost like going into the future as something that I could have used as an excuse, you know, going forward. And I've seen that in other people that I'm close to and that I love. So I know what I'm talking about. I know it happens. Not everybody, but I know it can happen. That you can get an illness and it becomes the reason to not live. And so the first thing I would say is that if you've been diagnosed with something, try to view it as something which is there to teach you something, but see it as passing through. It's an energy that has to pass through. You have to learn from it. You have to process what it's trying to teach you. You have to, and it's about bringing you back into your body. I think the vast majority of times what we do, what all of us do, I'm very guilty of as well, is we do anything rather than be in our body. Even that example I used at the start, you know, about the lady who was like, well, I don't want to listen to your video, you're talking about a different subject, I thought I was switching on to Robert Mueller, blah, blah, blah. In a way, that is all about not being able to be present. What's so wrong with just spending an extra 2 minutes listening to something to get to actually what you really want to listen to? We don't do that. We live in an era of the soundbite. It's quite worrying, actually, particularly from a younger generational perspective, because we're all on, you know, we're all on our phones the whole time. We're all, look at that. You see that? 11:11? Can you see it says 11:11? It's got the trees in it. I love that. 11/11, Saturday 16th of February. There's Metatron. Come back to me. Oh, fantastic. Can't make that stuff up, can you? Yeah, they say, what was I saying now? He's thrown me. You've thrown me. Oh yeah, you were saying about being able to concentrate. You know, we're all on the phones. We're in this era of sound bites, and what that does is it takes you away from your body. You're not tuning into your body and how it's feeling when you're frantically doing this and looking up your latest Facebook posts and, oh, you know, so-and-so's just posted a video, I need to watch that straight away. Breathe, be present. Create some time to do the stuff you want to, including social media and watching videos and all the rest of it. I do that, of course I do. I've been catching up on some videos actually whilst I've been unwell, and they've been very helpful to me. But it's about being present in the body, not trying to run away from the body. Another thing that I wanted to say as well with regard to illness is that so many of you are so sweet and loving to me, and I really appreciate it. I had so many lovely messages coming in and so many pieces of advice, which was all well intentioned, and thank you. But it did remind me a little bit of, you know, when you have you have the baby, you have a new baby, and everybody tells you how to bring up the baby, you know, like, oh, you know, you need to swaddle them, or no, you mustn't swaddle them. You need to keep the room at a certain temperature. No, they'll be fine, you know. You need to breastfeed. No, you don't. Formula milk will be fine. It's just, it goes on and on and on. Everybody has a different opinion on how to bring up this baby. You can give advice and you can listen to advice. But the truth is, the person that really knows best what is good for your body when you're unwell is you. Isn't that the truth? And it's lovely to be able to pass on bits of information that might have helped you. But again, it's very much about, that might have worked for you, but it might not work for me. It might not fit into my lifestyle. It might just not resonate. It might not be the strand of energy that I need to heal me. What Raphael is showing me right now is these strands of healing energy. So say you have, I was going to say cancer, but let's do something like, it could be cancer, it could be arthritis, anything. Any condition which is debilitating. And you have it within you, and I'm being shown all these different strands of energy that come forth from spirit, all of which are of a healing vibration. And it's about just trying to find the one that resonates with you. And the thing is, the strand of energy that you choose and that you then breathe into, link into, practice and do, might be the one that the person next to you doesn't choose, doesn't resonate with. You have to believe in what it is that you are using to help yourself heal. It's so important that you believe in what it is that is helping you to heal. Maybe that sounds obvious, but it's really not. It's like if you go for counselling or something like that, but you think actually it's a waste of time, it's not really going to work. It won't work. I guarantee it won't work, because you have to go in with the attitude that this is going to help me. This is going to help reveal things to me. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to have an open mind to this. I see the counsellor as somebody who can help me, not hinder me. And so it goes. So back to what I resonated with, but please, this might not resonate with you. I mean, I'm a colour therapist. It's what I was before I was anything else in terms of all the healing work that I do now. I was a colour therapist. So I will always go back to colour. I suspect that a lot of you watching me probably resonate with colour as well, because that's how you found me. That's what Metatron is all about. He's about the colour rays. So I talked about green. I talked about Archangel Raphael. Of course, the archangels as well. But the other one that, it's not that it surprised me, because he's been a guide all the way through my life. But I think because he's been a guide all the way through my life, I tend to be a bit sort of like, it's not that I forget he's there, but I'm a bit, what is the word? dismissive is, I'm a bit complacent. I think that's the word I'm struggling for. I'm a bit complacent. Christ is the energy I'm talking about. It's like, because he's always been there my whole life, it's a weird one. It's like I don't think to call on him sometimes. And when I was feeling really unwell a week or so ago, and feeling a bit sorry for myself, I thought, okay, who do I need? You know, what is it? I knew Metatron was there, but I also know Metatron sometimes well enough that when I've got something to learn, he'll stand back. And there was something I had to learn from the last couple of weeks. And indeed, you know, the weeks that follow. There are things I need to learn from this episode of ill health and getting myself back on track. Because I'm not 100% there yet. It's going to take weeks, maybe months. I've got to overhaul various aspects of my lifestyle. So Metatron's just like, he's there, but he's taking a step back. He's like, okay, Amanda, well, I know you can do this. So come on, what are the lessons in this? What is it you've got to learn? What are you going to do? Are you going to do it or not? And so I wasn't calling on Metatron actually, but it was Christ that came in. And it was just like, okay, just sit with me a while and just let me hold you. Sorry, my battery ran out. It was Christ. It was the Christ energy. And it was just, I'll just spray it because this is the spray that we sell. It's called Christ Light Comic. Not comic love. Although actually I think sometimes laughter's quite a good recipe for healing. Cosmic love. Christ Light Cosmic Love comes in on the peach coral ray. And it's about ending the suffering. So let's just spray the coral. Apologies if you can hear my daughter's music coming through the wall. There's not much I can do about that. Okay, so that's the Christ energy. And yeah, it was just like, surrender into my arms, fall back into my arms, just rest, and rest for as long as you wish to, my child. It was just, it was and it is such a beautiful energy. And I found the Christ energy, and I do find the Christ energy just so gentle and so loving. So Christ was another one that came in. And then of course we also had Mary Magdalene. I say of course, but to me they sort of go together. The Christ energy and the Mary Magdalene energy. And the one that I chose was the Divine Feminine Mary Magdalene energy. And this is to do with just linking into love, you know, linking into love and all of that jazz. Pink, the colour of the heart. Yeah, taking you into your heart space. So soft, it's so gentle. Yeah, and she's reminding me of, again, it's not coming from ego with her, but it's just, we need to acknowledge that she was just the most amazing healer in her own right. And it's not written about. Well, it is written about, but it hasn't been published. She is a powerful healer in her own right, Mary Magdalene. And she was one of the ones that helped nurse Christ back to full health when he was, after he'd been on the cross. And he was in the tomb behind the stone. She was one of the main people that was there helping his body to recover. But she's saying it wasn't just his body, it was body, mind and soul, you know. Although there wasn't much wrong with Christ's soul, that was never vanquished. But spirit might be a better word, body, mind and spirit. So she's a tonic is what she's saying, she's a tonic. And the way that I always connect into Mary is I just imagine myself beside water. And it's like she just comes to me. I just imagine myself down at my local beach with my feet in the sand. And she just comes very, very quickly and is there to offer a salve, a balm to whatever it is that troubles. So the two of them together, Christ and Mary Magdalene, they are very, very powerful healers to anything that is happening to you physically, mentally or spiritually in terms of depletion, illness and dysfunction. And the last colour that I will just mention that I came back to time and time again, and I'm still working with, is the gold, the rose gold. Now, the rose gold is the Stellar Gateway chakra spray within the Metatron range. And it was the one that really was calling me. And again, I think it's, if you go back to thinking about the virus or illness as a chance to purge, an opportunity for the body to purge old energy, you know, stuck energy, heavy energy, then the rose gold, the Stellar Gateway, is about bringing in the new. So it's interesting, if you just take it down to the common cold as an example, you're coughing, you're spluttering away, you're, you know, a bit gross, but it's coming out of the body, okay? Or if you've got an upset stomach, it's coming out of the body in another way. What the rose gold does, it's linked to the Stellar Gateway chakra above your head. As it's coming out, the old is coming out. I'm being serious. As the old is coming out, whether that's via phlegm or anything else, the rose gold energy brings in the new. Okay, it's like you clear out the old to bring in the new, and the rose gold just seems to know where it needs to go. It's a very, very high vibration. And I did write some things down. I'm going to spray it, and I'm going to write down a few things that I wrote down in my diary when I used it on the 12th. So that's Tuesday I used it. Let me just spray it. So just maybe imagine your Stellar Gateway above the crown, above the soul star, Stellar Gateway chakra just opening up. It's like a golden gateway, and just bringing down this beautiful, high vibrational rose gold energy through your body, into your aura, down. I wrote these, this is what I wrote down, this is what I saw. I saw a golden eagle. I was reminded of the golden prize. I was reminded that gold also links into the gold rush. You know, think of the gold rush and think how mad people went. So it's very good at helping to heal addictions, the gold ray. I'll be covering a lot more about all of the individual colours in a colour course that's coming up online quite soon. But this was the interesting bit. I've written, do you see yourself in gold? Oh yeah, I can imagine. I've got a gold aura, you know. That's what we all do when we're visualising. Well, I'm saying we all do. When you work with colour, it's very common to imagine a gold cocoon around yourself. And it's like, that feels wonderful. But then Metatron was saying, yeah, okay, but do you really see yourself in gold? Do you value, what I've written down here is, do you value your heart and your stomach as gold? Or is that gold tarnished within yourself? If you really valued your heart and your stomach, let's use the stomach as an example, as golden, as divine, as pure, would you put into it a load of junk food, sugar and alcohol every day? I'm not judging you, because I do it as well, not every day, but you know, I'm not a saint when it comes to diet by any stretch of the imagination. But again, just think of the stomach inside of your body as golden, as divine, as pure. Would you want to put into it anything that is of a low vibration? The answer is no. So some work to do there. And then I got the analogy, and we'll just do this together, which is that if we just breathe in gold for one moment. So we're breathing in gold. And we're breathing out gold. And we're breathing in gold. And we're breathing out gold. And we're breathing in gold. And we're breathing out gold. To such an extent that every part of you becomes golden. Inside, the organs, the bones, the skin, the hair, your toenails, your fingernails. Take it as far as you can, just imagining yourself as golden inside and outside. And then just pushing this beautiful golden energy into this cocoon around yourself so that your aura is just completely golden. And then what I was shown is this membrane that goes around the golden cocoon. and that membrane protects you. There is no lower energy that can come in to your aura when you are encased in gold, from above, from below, from the back, from the front, from side to side, and the membrane is the thing that only allows in the most pure and loving light. But this is the bit that maybe we don't always appreciate. That membrane can pick up the residue of what it is that is being kept away from you. And so what Metatron says is, from time to time, that debris that is stuck to the membrane of the golden aura around you, because remember, it's keeping out the heaviness, the lower energies, hose it down. I was shown just this beautiful hose. Shower it down. Silver light, gold light. Keep your aura as energetically clean as you can. And then also with the gold, Metatron saying, do you see with the gold ray? Do you touch things as if they were golden, i.e. precious? Do you see everything and everybody as divine, as God? The answer usually is no, let's be honest. But if we start to do that, it changes the world. And it changes you, because you are the world. Got that song in my head now. We Are the World. It's the charity single, wasn't it, from America. We Are the World. I was watching it a few days ago, actually, which is why it's in my head. Okay. I'm going to I think actually I might close this video down now, because the other things that I was wanting to talk about aren't really related to this, and I think probably need to be on another video anyway. I will just end by saying the final thing that I was doing, as well as drinking lots of water, sleeping a lot. Sleep is really important at the moment. Meditation, meditating more, writing down and journaling exactly what it is that you're getting every day. Even if you're not getting very much, journal it. Working with the colour energies is sage. I've been working with sage quite a lot. And I will light some sage now, just so that we can purify together. And this is some sage that I've bought online. It smells absolutely beautiful, actually. And I bought myself this bowl as well. It's quite a sturdy stone bowl. I was watching another teacher, Mark Bayaski, I think he's called. I don't think I've pronounced his name completely correctly. And I was watching one of his videos about saging, and he was saying that when you light sage, if it really sets fire and goes up in like a pot of flames straight away, it can be a sign that the room that you're in really needs saging, basically, that the energies aren't particularly great. But I did my room. I did this space this week, so it's quite nice energy in here at the moment. There's not much problem with it. But I will just send you some sage smoke. And also saging yourself. I mean, I work with my aura sprays all the time, and they keep my aura very clean and clear. But, you know, any of us that, like myself, that are working with a large number of people, particularly when you do videos and things like that, it's really important that you keep the space, the room, as clear as you can. And I'm really coming back to sage as a really powerful tool to use, as well as my sprays. That's really beautiful. Wow, the smell of that. And of course, the other thing you do with sage, and many of you I'm sure do this anyway, is that you can sage yourself. So you literally work around your body from head, all around the back, to your toes, with intention, and you just feel the difference as soon as you've done it. So I think sometimes, you know, when we wake up and we're just feeling in a negative state and we don't quite know why, so maybe we're suffering mentally, but equally if we're just suffering physically as well, I think sage is just a really good old-fashioned remedy that really, really works. You can obviously also buy smudging sticks, sage sticks. I don't sell these myself, so please don't ask me where to get them from, because I can't even remember where I got this from, to be honest. But they're not hard to find. Just Google sage and you'll easily find some. But again, I think this should be a ritual that we're doing very regularly at the moment, as the vibrations are changing, as so much in the collective consciousness is coming up for healing. And remember the analogy that I was saying at the beginning, we may very well be embodying 5D and displaying that and practicing that, but we're still walking these 5D bodies around in a world that still has elements of 3D, because it does. I know the subject is a little bit more complicated than that, because of course different timelines come into play, but the truth is that you've only got to walk outside your front door, unfortunately, to be confronted by behaviour and energy that is still very, very heavy. So the more that we can do to help ourselves remain as clear as possible, the better. So I'm just going to put this down here and smoke the room out. I'm going to end with one card for today. I did have a whole load of cards sitting on my table linked to the Brexit, but I'm going to do that another day. It was just a reading I did for myself, and I wanted to pull them more for the collective. I also couldn't remember what some of the cards were supposed to mean in terms of the positions that I put them in, so I'll do that another day. Let's just have a card for today and today's video. So we know Metatron is with us with that 1111 nod. That was nice, wasn't it? We've had Christ with us, we've had Mary Magdalene with us, and we've had Archangel Raphael with us. And we've also got this beautiful energy of the sage. Let's just put this. In fact, okay, another thing to do as well, of course, is when you use cards, is to put them over sage. It really helps to purify them. Wow, mine are getting a really good go of that now. I think I've got too much sage in this bowl, actually. I think that's what's going on. Okay, one more card. Message, please, Metatron, for the people that are viewing. The Eight of Pentacles. There is some work ahead of us all. It takes time to build what it is that we wish to create, i.e. this new reality, this new higher vibrational world. But each step that we take, each coin that we acquire, we get closer to our goal. But it does also feel as though this craftsman, i.e. us, who are trying to create this new energy for the world, bring it in, sometimes you need to take a step back and look at what you've already done. That's definitely what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks, and it's what I will continue to do over the next week as well. I feel by the time we get into March, we're into different energy, but it still feels as though it's time to take a step back and look at what we've achieved so far and keep on cleansing. I will just say the card on the bottom of the deck is the Fool. The Fool. The start of a completely new cycle. So everything that's going on right now, all this purging, this sort of health that's up and down, it's all part of trying to get us ready for the new. Hope that helped you today. Much love. I look forward to being back properly in a week's time. Bye for now, everyone. Oh, I'll put my website in the description box below, and also the links to the sprays that I've mentioned here today as well. Bye-bye for now.